Greetings, friends. This is MelVeeTALKS bringing you another exciting episode of MelVeeTALKS. This is a show where we talk about inspirational personalities, inspirational issues, and issues that you don't normally hear from the pulpits or from other places. And we really want to drill down to an inspiring story. At the end of this day, we really want to make sure that you've got something you can look up to. And today, we're very excited to have a very experienced and wise grey head that can share with us some inspiring stories on his life and the things that he's doing. And I'm talking about Mos Maja. He's an engineer, he's an entrepreneur, he's a businessman. He's done all the things in between, and he still has a life and a family. Greetings, my brother, and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Melissa.
Good to have you.
Yes.
We're really excited to be talking to you about this life story, your inspiring life story.
Me too, I'm excited.
Before we get into the details of this story, we're going to talk about a lot of things. Tell us about who is Mos Maja.
Yes. Well, Mos Maja is a simple guy from humble beginnings, born in Tembisa, started primary in Limpopo, and did high school in Transkei, and back to Gauteng for my tertiary. So I'm well traveled. I lived in different places with different people and different families. I left my home at the age of 14. And throughout my traveling, I think I've learned a lot. And I'm happy that my parents could let go of me at that early age.
Right.
When it's not easy for many parents to let go of their kids at that age.
Yeah.
But they were courageous enough to throw us in the deep end.
Yeah.
And that has shaped who we are and who
Wow.
I am today.
I'm glad you're talking about your parents, even right at the introduction of yourself. And
Yes.
I'm actually quite keen to know, tell us a little bit about, you talked about growing up in Gauteng and in Limpopo.
Yes.
What was the cause of moving in from a metropolitan
Yes.
to a largely rural province?
My father is from Limpopo,
All right.
and he happened to work in Joburg
All right.
even long before we were born.
So Joburg was a pool
Yes.
center where everyone would come in and
Yes,
work.
yes.
Gauteng.
Exactly. You know, people come from rural areas going to Gauteng
Yes.
for work opportunities.
Yeah.
And obviously he met my mother, and my mother is originally from Tembisa.
All right.
Yes, so myself and my sister were obviously born in Tembisa because my father was working in Joburg and my mother was also working in Tembisa as a teacher.
All right.
Yes, so we stayed with our grandmother most of the time in Tembisa until we were grown-ups enough to start school. So a decision was made that we must go back home to go and start our primary education there.
All right.
And we spent most of our time there with our grandmother from my father's side because my mother was still the side and my father was still the side, but my mother later came back to join us and stay with us in Limpopo.
All right.
So I was fortunate enough not only to have a parent's touch as in my father and my mother, but I spent some time with my grandmother from my mother's side and also a grandmother from my father's side in Limpopo.
Wow.
Yes.
So parenting was quite key.
Yes,
you really
very
moved
much.
based on the movement of your parents. Now,
Yes.
tell us about some of the things you remember very well, fondly. I know you
Yes.
post a lot on your
Yes.
social media page
Yes.
about your upbringing, your parents, and even your career, which we will talk about just now.
Yes.
What inspires you and really has shaped you from what your parents taught you as you were growing up? Some of the principles you think, even right now, you could transfer to your own children or any youth that you're working with?
There's a lot that I've learned from my parents and even from my grandparents, as I've said, because I've spent a lot of time with them. From my grandparents' side, from early age, I still have those childhood memories. I think I experienced a lot of love, you know, when they say children are spoiled.
Yeah.
I think grandmothers are good in doing that.
They lavished you.
So my grandmother, Makumalo from Tembisa, I think she spoiled us a lot. And when I went back home, and I stayed with my other grandmother, one thing that I remember from her side is that she was a very hard-working woman.
All right.
So she instilled that in us, you know, with the village farming,
Yes.
and going to Emasimini, and even in the house, you know, she taught us simple principles, you know, of hard work and of taking care of all the assets or all the things that we had in the house, that everything should be put where it belongs.
Right.
So we know exactly how precisely a teaspoon should be placed,
Okay.
and how our clothes should be packed, and where our shoes should be put and taken care of, or the keys or anything for that matter.
Yeah.
If you put anything in the wrong place, you will get a very painful reminder. And that was part of the shaping of our lives.
All right. You mentioned that. That's a very good one. I think I can resonate with that in a number of ways.
Yeah.
You talked about hard work,
Yes.
which is a very powerful principle.
Yes.
I mean, if there's anything our young people and our children need to learn, is that the privileges they have living in our homes
Sure.
didn't come with us having it light. And I'm talking to all the kids out there, the youth who think that
Yes.
my father can afford me an iPhone, can
Yes.
afford me a car, nice ride. There is something called hard work, sweating it out. So
Sure.
all our young people must learn that. But what other principles perhaps could you share with us from your parenting, from your parents, that you think are very influential for our young people today?
The first thing that I will want to put forward is obviously hard work.
Yes.
Which later my parents, not grandparents, translated to smart work.
All right.
Yeah, to say in the days of old, you need to have strength to be strong, to get
Yeah.
employment as a man in the mines and other industrial areas. But
We
today,
even called it manpower.
manpower, you know. So today you can do without that
Yeah.
if you're smart enough. The hardest thing today is thinking. So thinking is something that was instilled from my parents, especially from the encouragement we got from reading. Honesty as well, you know. You must be honest with yourself and with other
Yes.
people. You know, you can fool people, but not all the time.
Yeah.
So you need to live the real you, who you
Yeah.
are, without acting somebody else's.
Absolutely.
So that even when you need help, you can get genuine help.
Yes.
So honesty is very important. Also transparency.
Absolutely.
Transparency is very, very important.
Yeah.
You know, we live different lives at different times.
Yes.
And that sometimes can work against us. Yes, I don't say people should show everything about themselves. You know, you open up to different people for different reasons.
Yeah.
But at least the level of honesty and integrity must be very high.
And must never be questioned.
Exactly.
I think that's very critical, especially as a child of God. People must not have smoke screens in front of your character. They must know that this is Mos.
Even when things go wrong, you know,
Yeah.
you should be honest enough to come out to say, man, I think I made a mistake here.
Yeah.
I need help here.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I cannot do this one.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, you must not come out as a superman or as a superwoman
Absolutely.
who can do everything,
Yeah.
because we can't do everything.
The problem is television. Our kids watch a lot of television.
Exactly.
And they think Superman does everything. You know, when he
Exactly.
gets
They
into a
want to duplicate
situation-
what they see in Days of Our Lives, you know, and in all those.
We grew up in the
movies,
days of
yeah.
MacGyver. You know,
Exactly.
MacGyver always make a plan.